Brockfield is the sole owner of a construction company. She's developing residential housing in an affluent suburb. One of her architects is presented a new construction technology that will save the company 10% in the construction of each new home. The final product will have the same features that have been advertised, so you expect sales to be unaffected by the change. Dunsmore is the architect for a large residential subdivision. He has put in long hours developing plans, preparing architectural drawings, and gaining approval from town authorities for the plans. Now he's being asked to revise these plans to incorporate a new building technology. This technology would require him to redraw many plans and diagrams that have already been completed. These revisions will force him to go over his budget for the project. Moreover, he had planned to begin work on a new project in the near future.
Good morning, John.
I hear there are some new developments on the housing project.
Let me say that I'm very pleased with the progress on the project to date. We've received quite a few inquiries from prospective customers, even though we are still in the planning stage. I think the publicity that we've received in the local media has made a positive impression on the public and on local officials as well. I expect smooth sailing with any regulatory matters, and that brings me to the subject of our meeting. I've been informed by one of our suppliers of a new heating and air conditioning technology that would be incorporated in the project at a savings of 10% of the total construction budget. I think that incorporating this new technology will give our reputation for architectural excellence a boost.
Well, this comes as a surprise. You know, the plans have all been drawn up. The local building commission has approved them. I've been gearing up to work on plans for the new factory project. I just don't think we can do both.
I understand you have already begun work on the factory construction project.
Yes, the factory construction project has a high priority since there are tight deadlines for the completion of the factory.
I would like to have your opinion on the time delays and costs that we would incur if we decide to incorporate the new heating and air conditioning technology into the housing development project.
I'd have to study the new technology specifications in detail before I could answer you. However, I think we have the ability to redo the drawings and rewrite the plans if we decide to do this. It might add 1% to the total cost of the project, which would yield considerable savings to us. If we do this, I'll not have the time to work on the factory project where there is a deadline for submitting our plans.
Is it possible for you and your staff to work on both projects simultaneously?
As manager of the architecture division of the firm, it is my responsibility to keep up the morale of the staff. I try to be even-handed when I hand out work assignments. That way we avoid the inequities in workload.
You take pride in being even-handed with the architectural staff.
Yes, ma'am. If we want to maintain a professional atmosphere in the department, we need to run it as if it were an independent architectural firm.
You believe that we have a very professional architectural department in the firm.
I'm also concerned about the possible turnover risk if we put too much pressure on the staff. In a good economy, architects can find alternative employment if the pressure gets to be too much.
Let me summarize our understanding. You believe it is possible to redo the plans for the residential development, enabling us to make a savings of about 9% on the project. You think we are on track for developing the architectural plans for the factory construction project. The problem is that you do not have the time to work on both projects simultaneously.
We agree that both projects are feasible. We agree that there is not enough time to make the revision to the housing project and also prepare plans for the factory project in time to meet the deadline. I'm not sure we agree about maintaining the morale of the staff in the architecture department of the firm.
I believe morale is important. It's also important for this company to be flexible enough to capitalize on opportunities as they arise. I'll be prepared to deal with the morale issue to the best of my ability.
I appreciate your concern for morale of the staff.
Please give me the alternative solutions to the problem we face.
Well, there are several possibilities. We could ask the staff to work overtime. It's not a very popular request to make the staff do. As you know, our in-house architecture department is always stretched thin in terms of personnel. Another possibility might be to hire some part-time architects to handle the work. There are freelance architects available, but they charge a very high rate and would put us even further over budget. third possibility is to give the work to an architectural consulting firm. That would get the job done, but it would increase the cost dramatically.
You've brought in some good ideas. While it is possible to hire the freelance architects or an architect consulting firm, that approach defeats the concept of having our own in-house architect department. If we want to be competitive going forward, the cost savings from an in-house architect department gives us a leg up on most construction firms.
If we have to work on both projects simultaneously, I suggest giving compensatory time off as well as overtime pay. The overtime compensation will be an incentive, of course, but the staff might feel burned out nonetheless. With extra paid vacation time, we're going to keep the morale up.
Agreed. We will give the standard overtime plus some compensatory time off. Let's discuss the details of implementing this plan.
It is impossible to predict the outcome of a negotiation between two people who have conflicting points of view. The outcome of most successful negotiations is a compromise. Each side thinks it is a winner because it got something important that it wanted. The win-win outcome is more desirable than a win-lose outcome in most cases. This is especially true when there will be an ongoing relationship. Getting to the point where there is a satisfactory compromise is a challenge. There are many sides to a successful negotiation around a conflict between two opposing points of view. The parties must be willing to engage in the process of conflict resolution. In addition, the parties must be skilled in negotiation technique in order to apply it to the situation at hand. If you are the manager, you have a built-in advantage. Your subordinate has a big interest in resolving the conflict without spoiling the rapport in the relationship. Your advantage should not be squandered by your being too heavy-handed in the conflict resolution process. Hopefully, by resolving the conflict, both parties and the business itself will gain.